Hello, 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 beautiful world. Really, really, really wonderful to be with you. So in a moment, I'm going to be joined by Reiki Roop on Instagram. Roop, go ahead and find me.
Are you live on Instagram?
I can find you.
I can't see you having a live.
Great. So Roop should be on his way. So while Roop is joining, some of you are already here on Facebook. It's really, really wonderful to be with you all. Today, we're going to be discussing on our IG Live and Facebook Live how we can support humanity to rise at this time. So I'll just give Roop another moment to join. Okay, Roop, I have invited you on Instagram. Those of you who are on Facebook, of course, you can already see Roop's lovely face. Amazing. Here he comes. Okay. Wonderful, Roop. How are you doing? I cannot see your video. It's gray for me.
Yeah, 1 second.
Perfect. Yay. Really beautiful to be with you, my dear.
Yeah.
So I was just telling our lovely viewers that we are going to be discussing today how we can support humanity to rise together. So I wanted to start this off just by kind of focusing us down a little bit for this discussion. We have had quite a few conversations, and there have been a number of very similar themes. This is a really amazing, phenomenal time of evolution for all human beings for this planet. And we're really, really passionate. We're always talking, aren't we, about supporting our community, supporting our students, supporting our tribe, our friends, and our families. And I really want to make this session super, super practical. I really want us to drill into really practical things that we can be doing to support ourselves and our own evolution, but also to be supporting those around us. And I guess this live has probably a little bit more relevance for people who are working in some sort of a supportive capacity. So those of you out there that are supporting your communities as community and youth workers, therapists, practitioners, teachers, guides, I feel that this is going to be particularly relevant to you today. So, Roop, I just wanted to kind of get us going. I know that you are really in deep studying mode at the moment. I know that you're involved in a lot of online conferences and summits, and you're really utilizing this time. We're coming towards spring in the UK. Lockdown is going to be lifted. We're going to be in a much more creational energy gathering again with our communities. And I feel, looking at you, that you've really been using your time wisely to be studying new technologies, new techniques in holistic medicine that I know that you want to bring out there to the world. So can you talk to me a little bit about that, about why studying new technologies and new techniques and keeping abreast of biohacking and holistic medicine? Why is this important in the kind of more broader general picture of humanity evolving?
Well, I feel for me it's all those aspects are the direct evidence of of where we're going and how humanity is growing and evolving. So to keep abreast of new improvements and techniques in healing and how to support the body, I think that's really important. And the fact that that is important to people more and more shows how we're becoming more connected and in tune with ourselves. And the technology side of stuff is an inevitable part of our evolution as we grow and our innovations increase and our inventiveness and ability to use technology to assist us in our lives. So the technology stuff that I'm looking at more is to do with a few things to do with healing, but mostly I keep a depth with things that's going on in terms of us exploring space and innovation to do with space travel, type of engines and things to do with the quantum, because that also impacts health as well. So those are the kind of areas in the technology, because I think those are also a future for us, where I see we're going towards understanding more about quantum physics, how that affects our body and our health. But yeah, that's just a quick overview. Is that all right?
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. It's really great to get your insight, and from somebody who's doing a lot of studying at the moment. And so when you're out there and you're watching these big speakers, I've seen you just in the last few weeks listening to Gregg Braden talk, listening to all sorts of people from all around the world and all sorts of disciplines speak. What is the general consensus from those big thinkers, those, like leaders in holistic and energy medicine? What is their general consensus right now about where humanity is in terms of its evolution and what we can do to assist?
Yeah, so actually didn't mention anything about, so there's back-to-back online free summits going on for the past month or so. They're still going to go on till like April and May. So if anybody, you can just sign up to a couple of different portals, and you've got access to all the experts in the world talking about every single thing to do with the body, to do with science and healing and the spirituality aspects. It's super interesting to be able to listen to them, and they're all talking about the things that are happening on the cusp and in the future, and absolutely next level things coming in, and I think it is really important, especially in the fields that we are. I think it's a sense of duty, a sense of responsibility for me to be constantly upgrading my skill sets, to know that I can do, when I'm with a client, I can do everything I can, or when I'm with a student, I can give them all the information that I have, and that's accessible to me, and also accessible for the level of my consciousness to be able to hand that over to people to help them upgrade. I feel that's a really important form of my purpose, basically. So I think that's why I kind of watch and take in all this information. And it's just, in the past few years, it's become really important for me for me to respect my body, respect my mind, and I've done a lot of work around those aspects of internally and apart from external of the physical and internal of the physical, and then also the mind, the consciousness aspects, just to make sure that I'm a well-rounded individual, so I can support the people around me, as well as like it feels really good to be balanced in all three aspects, and well, to be as best as I can be close to balance anyway. And so what all those people are saying is various things, like the level of science and evidence now to look on the cellular level at to most aspects of our body, which are really important. It's just like it's out there, and like the information that's on there should be being taught in schools. Everybody should be listening to that. Basic fundamentals of how our body works and how we feed it, how the mitochondria work, how our cells are creating energy on the fundamental level. it's like the level of study that's happened to these cells, like the mitochondria now, is just like so immense. The understanding of how it maintains the body, it's really important, and so many easy basic things that we can do to make sure that we keep those things in tune, like the mitochondria, which basically are where all respiration takes place in every cell, and how it creates energy on a cellular level for the body to do all of its processes. And a simple thing about that, one thing I've learned is about keeping the body hydrated. So the mitochondria, they actually take the water and they turn the water into what the body wants it in its format. It's almost like a plasma format called H3O2. And we can help our mitochondria in that process by finding H3O2 first in the foods and the things we consume, so that they can work easier and have to work less, and therefore like their longevity will improve and our body's longevity will improve. So like having things like coconut water, fruits and vegetables, which already have this water in a plasma form, H3O2. It's a simple thing like that. So like so I'm just making sure I'm drinking coconut water every day. We're having salads, we're having our fruits, and just keeping hydrated. Super simple thing to do. That you're supporting your body on the mitochondrial level. Super simple and super awesome. Just like simple pieces of information like that, how it can change the way that you see your life and your body.
And can I just come in there, because for those of you that are joining at the moment, Roop and I are discussing what we can be doing to support humanity evolving at this time, and Roop's talking about the mitochondria. So I just kind of want to pause there. First of all, I want to just let people know that the mitochondria is like the energy powerhouse of the cell, of each of the cells of the body. And what Roop's talking about is all this new science that's coming out about how we can boost our mitochondrial function so that we can be getting more energy out of the cells of our body and effectively being more energetic and having more energy and productivity to channel into the things that we want to do. But I just want to summarize what it feels like you're saying there, which is that yes, community, tribe and all that kind of stuff is really important, but actually on an individual level, if we don't look after ourselves in this physical vessel, then we're not going to be able to have that energy to put into into supporting humanity rising. So it's like you're bringing it right back to that very basic level of let's just nourish this beautiful body and get it functioning optimally. Like I love that. And one of the things that I feel when I'm out there in the spiritual wellness community, I see a lot of like upper chakra activation, a lot of like really super cosmic meditative stuff and all this, just like shamanic, and you know what, I do a lot of cosmic stuff. So I get it. Yeah, I really, really see it. But for us, I know it's really important for everything that we do to be integrated. And this is really key, so that we're not just focusing on one type of activation. So we're not just focusing on the third eye, upper chakra activating, just being in our heart space, love and light, spreading love, and connecting on a cosmic level. It's about also being holistic and integrated in our approach and really grounding into this moment, into our lower chakra system, which is all about our sense of belonging, our sense of purpose in the world. And if we're going to be here as our purpose to support humanity, we need to honor this physical vessel, right? I see so many people. So we've been in the, we worked as youth and community workers, right? From like 12 years ago, that's where we started. And we did a lot of youth and community work, and then we moved into working in the media more, making documentaries, productions, and then moving into setting up our health and well-being clinic and school. So we've seen a lot and worked with a lot of people that are out there supporting humanity in different ways, from artists, community workers, teachers, doctors, social workers, there's such a huge, vast plethora of people out there in the world doing amazing things to support humanity at this time. But the one thing that I see that breaks my heart, and that I know both of us are really, really passionate about today in teaching our students, the one thing that we see is burnout. Burnout as a result of self-neglect, of that unawareness of self, that I'm leading myself into a place that I may get stuck in and may really affect my physical vessel, and having that awareness and having that also that strength to stop and give ourselves the care that we really truly need to do that work. That's something that I know it took me a long time in my life to get to that point where I was giving myself the level of self-care that I needed to do the work that I'm doing. And seeing that now out there, it really, really breaks my heart to see a lot of people feeling like they just need to work really hard because people are having a hard time out there, and we're taking it upon ourselves to do that job at the expense of our own health and our own well-being. So I love what you're saying about bringing it back to basics, like thinking about our cellular function, and there's so many beautiful biohacks out there that can help us to boost our own energy function at a cellular biochemical level in the body. So one of the things that you mentioned is H3O. So this is a type of water, hydrogen. Do you want to explain a little bit about what H3O is?
Yeah, so H3O is the product which the mitochondria make when it takes water and it splits the water, and it actually adds obviously more oxygen to it. So that's like plants, to create energy, the plants need water and sunlight, and carbon dioxide. We need oxygen, water, to create our kind of cells' energy, and light as well, because we are semi-photosynthetic as well. Biophotons are being absorbed by our pigments all the time.
I want to get onto that in a minute, definitely.
And then so basically, yes, so they make H3O2, which is what the cells use as a kind of plasma, what they call the fourth phase of water, which is almost a gel-like version of water, because we have solid, liquid, vapor, or gas, but there's actually a fourth phase of water, which they're now calling gel or plasma. And that's what the cell actually needs. That's what it uses to keep its strength, its structure, and it helps us as a physical structure, hold its vibration and keep matter together. And as well as being a physical thing, that water also, on an energetic level, has an impact in terms of the charge within our body, and also the charge within the cells, and all of the cells grouping together to create opposite charge, which holds us together as a physical structure. That's what I kind of mean in terms of charge and holding as a physical structure.
So it feels like it's more of a bioavailable type of molecular structure. That's by bioavailable, what I mean is that the body's more receptive to it, so it can be really easily used by the body. So that's what. So a lot of water, you notice when you drink a big glass of water, you still do pee a lot of it out. Because the body can't use it all like that in its raw form. It actually converts it to this H3O2. So if we can give our body that H3O2 as close as we can to it in that form, we're supporting our body. So that's where I said earlier on, like the coconut water, the fruits and vegetables, which are containing the hydrogen, the water in this format. It just makes simple sense, isn't it? So you're releasing the pressure on your mitochondria. You're increasing their efficiency by giving them almost their raw product straight away.
You know, it's
Sure.
just, and that those foods are so readily available to add to your diet. And hydration, basically, hydration is the key to longevity and vitality of our cells and of our body.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So yeah, and
There's one other massive thing that's attached to all of this, which is the easy stuff, Tasha, the exclusion zone thing. And I'm just thinking that's going to
let's
take.
go into it. If we could go into it in a kind of concise way, let's do it.
So in a concise way, well, it's probably been happening for quite a few years, isn't it? Studies have found an area around the cell, and they've called this area an exclusion zone. And basically, they found that it's around every single cell. And the edge of our cell, you say the wall, the lining of our cell, they're calling that a hydrophilic tissue, right? And this hydrophilic tissue basically is like basically how osmosis occurs, how water moves in and out, and also how toxins move in and out of our cell and into the plasma or the bloodstream or wherever they sit. So this exclusion zone, the stronger this exclusion zone is, the thicker this exclusion zone is the cell keeps its structure more permanently. You know, it's a strong structured cell, and also it creates a strong charge. So these exclusion zones are negatively charged. Inside the cell is positively charged. And if you imagine each cell being like that, almost like an atom, with the positive protons in the middle and the negative electrons are on the outside. So you can see how basically straight away the cell is the macrocosm of an atom. Yeah. And all those cells basically hold themselves together strongly with those exclusion zones being negative. Yeah. And all of these other cells sit together. So if we can find this, so basically the cell has to make this water. It makes this water called easy water, exclusion zone water, which is basically negatively charged water. Again, in its plasmatic form. So that H3O2, again, if we're drinking that water in that form, like coconut water and fruits and vegetables, we're almost adding, this type of water so that the cell can make that easy water quickly, which creates the structure, creates the charge for the cells to hold together, and makes our physical body stronger, basically.
So we're talking about that's going to be helping with cell damage to repair cells. Yeah. That's going to be helping to detoxify. Because I remember I went to a Dr. Klingart, an incredible physician, naturopathic, homeopathic, kinesthetic, kinesiologist years ago. And he was talking about the exclusion zone. And he was talking about how that's also used as a way of the exclusion zone detoxifies toxins from the cell using this pressure. And how it can also be really helped with infrared light. So I remember him talking about that and thinking, wow, okay, so if we can enable the exclusion zone, then we're helping the cell detoxify waste materials and other things out of the cell, which means that it's all about cell longevity, right? It's about increasing the energy of the cell. It's about protecting the cell so it doesn't get damaged, that it can repair itself. Because when the cell is full of toxins, because, let's face it, we're breathing these toxins in, we're eating the toxins, even, in like healthy food we buy from the supermarket has pesticides and preservatives and things like that in it. So there is a lot of that cellular level toxicity that these simple technologies are, but also complex technologies, are really helping to balance out. So there's just a really profound impact to have on the body. And what I realize is that there's this underlying low grade, sometimes high grade, chronic stress that the body is under, because each and every cell can be under this kind of low grade stress. So it might not be something that we feel like in a very dominant way, because actually our bodies are incredible at adapting and we've just become used to it. But especially when we live in cities, especially when we're working high pressure jobs, we have a lot going on. Our nervous system is really stimulated. You know, there's a lot of street lights around, all of that kind of stuff. Everything impacts on this physical body and on our individual cells at a cellular level. And so protecting that and enabling our cells to be able to divide properly and create new cells and detoxify and repair themselves. So important.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to pick up on something that you mentioned about, and you mentioned this a couple of times now already, about charge and electricity. Now, we are electric beings, right? This world is an electric world. Like, electricity is one of the fundamental modes in transportation of energy around our body. It's one of the fundamental ways that our bodies, our cells communicate with each other, and the way that we communicate with nature and everything around us. So again, I want to bring this back to us as individual beings. So as human beings. So what does that mean for us on an individual level in supporting our own evolution? The idea of electricity, like, I feel that if we can become more aware that we are these electrical magnetic beings and that electricity is working through us in so many different ways, and we can get clued up about how we can boost our electrical field, that this again is going to help us to have more energy, be more productive, and also be more magnetic, like actually magnetize the things that we need into our life rather than constantly having to go out and expend energy to search. Because I really believe that when you're in flow, the electricity running through you is attracting, our charge is attracting all those things into our field. So I find now, like, I don't really need to go looking for much. When I need something, often I get an email the next day or somebody contacting me and letting me know that they have something to share with me. And I feel like I'm using my own electrical field to attract what I want in my life. But I'm also boosting that by using frequency machines, so technologies that use frequency to harmonize my energy field. Like, you've been using, I know you love the tuning forks, and you've been doing tuning forks on me, and I've been going to a therapist who has a gadget and using their frequency machine, and using breath work and so many other things. Oh my God, it's so funny. Dr. Klingart Institute just popped up on my phone when we were talking about him and the exclusion zone. That's crazy.
There you go. It's evidence of magnetizing straight away.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. It's what we're attracting into our field. So I want to get your take on that. Like, how important is our electrical field to our productivity, our evolution?
Yeah, I would say it's very important. It's very important. Because in the past, and the way that the health industries and stuff have evolved is that it's been very much based on the physical cellular kind of matter based level, which is very important. But we've known for a long time, and obviously it's happening more and more now. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing because it's this lightning and thunder outside, and we're talking about electricity. I'm just like,
oh right, yeah, I know it's raining really hard.
It just started raining as we started to do this.
Yeah,
this transmission, and
it's just really bad.
It's just started to, like, lightning and thunder has just started, and we literally just started talking about electricity and the charge of the human body, and it's like, you can't make this shit up. Like, this is what I'm talking about. This is being in full flow when you are connected to nature, to the universe. You're honoring yourself as a being and what we truly really are. This is we are supported. We are so supported by nature, and it's clearing up now. It's just as if nature wanted to just give us her blessing and just be like, yes, talk about electricity, remind everyone how important it is to honor our electricity.
Okay. Where was I? Yeah. So everything's been focused on healthcare, so it's been focused on the physical stuff, but underlying all of that is energy, and that energy inside us is in the form of electricity. And our heart is producing this electricity. Our brain is producing this electricity. The heart is actually more powerful than the brain in terms of producing electricity. Obviously, we have all the neuro things going on, but the heart is actually the most powerful electric organ we have. And this is used to sustain the body on a cellular level. This creates those charges and the magnetism and opposing forces, which are working on that fundamental level to hold our cells together. Yeah, we know where there's all these cells and stuff, but if you know from chemistry that those cells are held together by bonds, but also by charge. So that electricity is what is creating these opposing charges, and it's electrifying those cells so that they have that certain charge, so that they are magnetized or bonded together. And that can happen in so many ways, like I said, like the heart and the brain are our organs. But also we have our biofield, which surrounds us, which has many layers, and these are made up of plasma, and plasma is a form of an iron gas, so it's negatively charged. So when a gas has ionic properties, it's able to hold current, it's able to hold charge, it's able to have a voltage, and so therefore we have electricity surrounding us. And so that those biofields feed into our body, into our organs, through our circulatory system, through our nerves, and it basically feeds everything at a very fundamental level. And the biofield is there. It's interacting with the world around us. It's interacting with people who are around us, and that therefore that informs what's happening to our body. So in terms of emotional and physical and electrical level, it's like we're a giant battery walking around with this giant magnetic field. And some researchers said that those fields can go, up to 2 miles, up to over 1 mile long, even though the physical size of our biofield is only said to be 6 feet, but the ramifications of it can be felt for miles around us. So the electric universe and the electric body is a very, very crucial thing, and I advise people to start looking into it, start learning about it. It affects everything from our acidity, our alkalinity. It actually is an indication of what charge we have. That pH thing is a physical measurement for what charge we have as general in our body. Yeah. So, are we neutral, are we acidic, or are we alkaline? And that's to do with the type of charges our cells have. So really push people to start looking into electricity on the body.
So what's actually happening when our electricity is out of balance? Like, talk to me like a little bit about that. So what's happening to the biofield, to the heart? Like, how is energy blocking? Like, I want you to kind of break that down for us so we can really visualize. And what are we talking about? What causes it?
So if we talk about the anatomy of it. The anatomy of it, you see the biofield, okay? So see this field, this orb, this giant bubble, and that surrounds the human body. And at the top and the bottom, there is a small opening, and the energy goes into your crown, and from the bottom it goes up into your root, into where your base of your spine is. And that is also called a torus field, which is a structure, yeah, that's seen in physics, that's seen in space. A toroidal field is a field of energy and a way of a self-sustaining, recycling energy field. And so this is pulsating, this is moving, this is turning, and it's bringing these energies through. And so within that torus field, then as you come inwards towards the body, there are different layers, different fields to our biofield, which resonate at different frequencies, and they each do a different thing. The ethereal, causal, auric layer, the physical layer. These fields,
emotional, all that kind of thing, mental, yeah.
And they're all connected to different things, relationships, past life, you know, other realms. All these fields do all this different stuff, and they come in and they're basically coming in and communicating with the body. And the way that they're communicating with the body is via the chakra system, the vortex of energy, the spheres of energy which we have in our body, the 7 chakras. And this electricity comes in and talks to the chakras as almost relays, and then the chakras come in and speak to the endocrine system, which hold our hormone system, which are our chemical messengers, which go around and basically activate and talk to the body and tell it what to do, tell the heart what to do, tell the liver what to do, tell what type of immune system response is needed, tell how much insulin we need to produce. This is very, very crucial, and that technology all works together in one. And so at the moment, in the kind of mainstream view, it's just like the chakra system, and that is not really looked at. It's seen as esoteric, occult, pseudoscience. But the evidence has shown where people actually take their intention and do the work using this system, then there are massive, massive changes in people's lives. So there's got to be something in it, basically. So yeah, it's the chakra system basically which attaches us to the biofield.
Right. So there's this interface on several levels of the biofield, the electricity fields, interfacing with the physical body, the biochemical body as well, through these different means. So these energy points in the body are created. So it's like the chakras are can be seen as these vortexes, but actually they're like toroidal systems in themselves, aren't they? Because of the way that the energy moves through them and the charge is created. Of course, there's a positive and negative charge. So this is where you're talking about going away, getting clued up on GCSE, basic science from when you were 13, 14, 15, 16 years old. That portion of time, I wish I had learned more, because I've had to go back and relearn that. And it's been a real lesson. I really should have paid attention.
But now that we're older, it seems a lot simpler. I don't know. It does. It just goes out of school, things like that seem complicated. Obviously, you've got natural ability, but it's just something clicks later on where you actually start to care about it as well. It's the other thing at school, you're just forced to compress all this information, whether you want to or not.
And we can see how it's applied actually to our health and wellness. So we have these positives. They create these energy toroidal fields in the body, several of them, and then a big main one. And then that interfaces with the actual organs of our body. And then those organs produce hormones that then tell the body what to do. So on a fundamental level, and that's connected to our emotions as well. So, because the hormones are chemical messengers, and these are very much part of our emotional interface. Okay, so our emotions, the thoughts that we have, the beliefs that we have, those triggers and that energy that we stay locked within, the trauma that we've experienced, that cultivates a particular type of energy, and that energy basically gets trapped. It gets trapped in the energy system. And when our chakras become blocked with that energy, because that dense energy has been sitting there for a long time, it starts to change the frequency. It starts to change the charge of the chakras, and change the charge of our whole biofield. And then that impacts the physical. It impacts the biochemical secretions, because that's what happens. Everything is linked. So essentially what we're talking about is, when there's a break in the chain, even at one point of the energy system, that's going to impact the whole system. Is that right?
Yeah, because there's a term for that. It's called, when something is out of phase or out of sync and a charge is where it shouldn't be. They call that an electromagnetic event, where, say, for example, it's to do with the throat area. Say, for example, if I'm going to use an extreme case, if we on a daily basis are swearing at people and being angry to people, that will be creating several electromagnetic events in our throat, not just on the physical level, but on the electrical level, where actually we have our own chakra there as well. that electromagnetic event, which can affect the throat chakra, it can cause blockages. It can cause it to be fluctuating an incorrect phase or an incorrect adjunction to the body where it's meant to be sit. For example, it become offline, off sync as well in terms of being in center. And then on the physical level, that electromagnetic event and that charge being in a place where it shouldn't be, it can cause things like cell mutations. So you can start to have some sort of fibroid or some sort of like tumor or something on an extreme scale. If it's a continuously repetitive thing, say somebody's just constantly angry and very aggressive and using their voice to project that, you know, that there can be things in the future. And it's making it sensitive and susceptible to things happening in the future. Even if it doesn't happen right there, it could be something that can happen later on in life. You know, you can have all this kind of you know, incorrect expression for say 25, 30 years, and 40 years down the line, you could accidentally breathe some toxin in walking down the street. That'll go and sit in and get locked in this wrong charge as it's being drawn in, and that toxin can sit there, and that can develop into something. There's a few examples of a simple thing is, you know, not linking into how our expression on all the way from an energetic electrical level to a physical level can manifest. You know, not for our highest and greatest good.
It's such a great example that, and I do see a lot in my naturopathy practice. I see a lot of women and men coming to me that have cysts and get benign growths, tumors. And when I really dig in deep, I find out that the places that those growths have are directly related to their emotions or their trauma. It's directly related. I actually had somebody recently come to me and they had at a very young age a lot of benign tumor growth in the throat and chin area. And you know, when I was really breaking that down, there's definitely a lot of deep repression there of speech. And you know, it's not just about incorrect, unmindful speech. It's
so that's the other side of it is it's expression, or you blocking yourself from speaking. Charge to build in that way.
Absolutely. So I want to kind of just bring it back. We've introduced a few topics, and you know, I'm just thinking about this. These are amazing topics, and I know that we're going to be doing more on this, sharing more on this. So just to kind of round it up, I'd love just quickly your top three. So for the H3O, so we've had the biohack, the H3O biohack. So this is all about mitochondrial function. This is about boosting your energy,
the
cell repair, cellular respiration, like just vitality, cell longevity. So I want a couple of top tips for that. So you mentioned coconut water, but I want you to mention a couple of things, couple more things for that, and then for frequency, charge, boosting the biofield. That biome is another talk. I want your top tips for that too. So if you can kind of wrap those up and make them quite concise, that would be amazing.
Okay, so let's we'll start from the outside. So we'll start with, you know, the biofield stuff. So the biofield stuff is it's influenced by our emotions and the electricity and charge that's around us. So grounding is very important. Yes, to connect to the earth, which is negatively charged, and negativity in terms of not that word negativity, but we want to balance out and make sure that we're neutral. And you know, the positive charges, which are the protonic charges, are, you know, things like free radicals and stuff. We want to ground them. We want them to be to go down. And so simple meditations for grounding and visualizing and clearing the field. See this field becoming clearer and clearer, becoming brighter and brighter. You know, start tuning into where your chakras are and the energy and frequency that's related to them. You know, and we've got loads of meditations and things for that, haven't we, to get people going on your YouTube channel and on your website. And then when you're coming in, say the stuff to do with the mitochondria, we go all the way to our little powerhouses. So I've mentioned coconut water, fruits and vegetables, which are are kind of juicy. They have their own water inside. Cucumbers, all those kinds of things like that, basically all contain a closer form of this H3O2, which is what our mitochondria are trying to make. So if we put that in there, we'll remain hydrated more, and our cells' longevity will increase. Apparently, you can actually buy water that's called easy water for exclusion zones, but it's very difficult to get a hold of. So again, the same principle of drinking those water, which helps our exclusion zones to be strong, which makes our cells structure strong, which creates the charges, and which keeps the physical structure held together.
So just to add in there, when this video goes onto YouTube, because we're also recording this live, it's going straight onto our YouTube channel on Facebook. We can leave in when we've done some research and we found some links to easy water. We can leave some links in there, can't we?
Yeah.
Great.
And so the water stuff as well is like people should start looking into, if they're not already got or haven't looked into it, is like filters for their house, depending on where they live. And people can check online to see what is in their water. So trying to find a filter to really support the body is to have the best quality water we can have. Simple thing again, we just get through our tap and we take it for granted. And we assume, we hope that it does everything it is, but there are further steps to take, because unfortunately the waters that are coming through the taps aren't necessarily 100% what you would say clean, as in a version of, there's certain impurities within it which affect our body, and it can happen through all sorts of stuff. Because water is recycled, it goes through filtration plants. It's sometimes wastewater that's flushed down the toilet, then recycled and comes back. There's unfortunately just some things in it that are very difficult to remove, and they get put back into the cycle basically, and ingested once again. So waters can have hormones in it, can have pesticides in it, it can have high calcium content, it can have obviously fluoride and viruses, pesticides, all sorts of stuff basically can come back into it. So good filter, to support the kind of water you're intaking, to support your body to create this exclusion zone water, to create this H3O2, so that your cells can remain hydrated.
Yeah, and we use the British Biofield. It is globally known as one of the best filters. It's also one of the most cost-effective filters. It doesn't require any electricity. They are amazing. We've had leading experts in this field verify that the British Biofield is one of the best filtration systems to have. But also, if you can afford to get one that attaches to the source of your water coming into your property, they cost anywhere between maybe like $700 around $1,000 upwards. But we're talking about then water coming in through your shower, coming out of the taps, is all going to be really clean, super clean, and more balanced in charge water.
Yeah.
Great. What else? So what else about?
So what else? I'll pass it back to you.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Why don't you? So I've talked about the biofield electricity part of it. I've talked about the cellular level of keeping hydrated. What else do you think? And just link it back to the purpose of the talks, Natasha. The supporting to raise human evolution and support.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, the most effective, simple, and cheapest way that we can boost our biofield is through working with energy, working with the breath, particularly working with energy medicine techniques such as Reiki and Sekhem, working with crystals, very, very, very effective, working with other forms of quantic medicine, working with Kriyas, so powerful. Kriyas are one of the most powerful ways of really just like boosting the biofield of the body very quickly. So within 2 minutes, you can pump yourself up, your charge up, neutralize your charge. and feel really amazing. Roop and I do this all the time when we're in preparation for meetings or for studying or for whatever it is that we're meant to do, breath of fire. There's so many different techniques. I can recommend coming to my free Evolve Yoga Journey, which happens every Wednesday at 6 p.m. GMT. This is a way to be introduced to these technologies. I also fuse energy medicine technologies into that as well. But bringing it back to how do we support humanity rising? We cannot give what we don't have. We cannot guide somebody and support their consciousness to expand more than ours can expand. So it's important, if we're going to be in that position of supporting humanity, of supporting the growth of other people, that actually we really take our own health, our own well-being seriously, and that we give ourselves that level of self-care that we know that we need to stay vibrant, to prevent ourselves from burning out. And so these fundamental practices of really respecting and honoring and looking after the body, like nourishing it well, drinking proper water that's clean, drinking other beautiful nutrients that are going to assist the body to be more hydrated and at the right charge. Also, and the foods that we eat, all of this is really, really, really important. But the energy work, the breath work, this is really taking things to another level. And when we have these different ways that we're bringing in the boosting of our electricity, we are massively supporting our whole being in a holistic way. And this is how we're going to show up. And we are going to support humanity to rise. And plus, we've experienced it. We've verified it. We can really only, I believe, to be in integrity as a practitioner, that we can only really teach people what we've actually verified ourselves. I think that's really, really important, that we verify these technologies ourselves, that we actually test and experiment with this body so that we can share that with others.
Yeah, wonderful roundup there. I found really interesting to say about we can only help people as far as we can help ourselves, or go as far as what we've learned ourselves. So I think that's a reflection again of like what the power of say the example, the analogy of the holographic universe. How what we change in this one section of the universe, which is the space our body takes, that will reflect every other space of the universe. So by working on ourselves, we are working on the collective, because we are all a part of the whole. So I think that's really important to kind of give some context of, it's nothing to do with selfishness or self-centered natures. If we don't look after ourselves, we're not in the right place to be able to look after anybody else. If we don't love ourselves, how can we be in the right place to share love with other people? If we don't, try to improve the state of our beingness, then how can we advise other people how to improve their beingness?
So important.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. It's been another beautiful session. I just, for people who are joining us now, please head over to our Instagram or my Instagram in a few minutes when I'll be posting, and you can watch this right the way through. For those of you that have watching it live or watching it as catch up, thank you so much for tuning in. Please leave comments, send us any messages, let us know how this landed with you. If you want to know how to use any of the technologies or biohacking tools that we have spoken about today, again, get in contact with us. As I said, I have a beautiful integrated yoga and energy medicine class every Wednesday at 6 p.m. GMT. We have some incredible retreats coming up. One in the UK, our soul blueprinting and timeline teachings retreat, where we're going to be taking practitioners, therapists, healers, community workers on a journey to understand their own soul blueprint and timeline and how they can support their clients. So if that calls to you, please get in touch and have a look at my bio for that. Sign up to our newsletters. We have amazing things going on. We have a distant healing group on Tuesdays, which is free. It's so beautiful. Yeah, there's just so much juiciness going on, so much abundance. Yeah. Okay, everybody,
awesome.
Have a beautiful, beautiful day.
Thank you, Tasha. I'll speak to you soon.
Namaste, Hari Om Tat Sat.
Namaste, bye.